That's quick. So our mission is to restore and protect the Anacostia River and its watershed communities. What we really want to see is the Anacostia fishable and swimmable by 2025 for all to safely enjoy. I mean, I don't think that's asking too much. So where did fishable and swimmable come from?
Sustainable BC plan.
Nice try. Where did fishable and swimmable come from? So it came from the Clean Water Act. When was that? 1872, right? No, 1972. Right, so I mean, it's been a while that we were supposed to have fishable, swimmable waters, and we don't. And it's a goal that I think is lofty, but is certainly doable. So what are our challenges? Pretty much, we try to frame it in the vein of stormwater because it sort of carries everything down to us, but each of these things is undergoing some level of transformation through work that the partners and through Jennifer's great work and others have done to bring a solution. So we're still dumping raw sewage in the river. I'm outraged by that, but it's getting better because of a lawsuit that Jennifer brought, that Earthjustice brought, and forcing the district to build a huge remedy for that. You know, we ended up suing WSSC because they had some issues with their pipes at their stream crossings, and we're releasing sewage there. But you know, each one of these, let's see, we have a TMDL for trash, we have stormwater utilities, we have strong permits and strong regulations. These are all things that the partners have worked together on here. The last big one is the legacy sediments in the river. We're just starting to see that take off and see if we can't get that under control. So a lot of our work revolves around not only the river, because why do we want a clean river? Because there's 1 million people that live in this watershed, and they have, frankly, a right to clean water. That's the way I look at it. You know, you shouldn't have to go, well, that guy got to polluted, and I can't use it, and somehow that's okay. So really what we're trying to do is bring people back to the river, reconnect them. I want the Anacostia to be a destination. Most of you guys are too young to remember this, but there's not a lot of people that used Anacostia and destination in the same sentence, okay? So we need to get over that. I tell people my biggest challenge, frankly, is that the term Anacostia. You know, I think sometimes a change in the name to, you know, Jim's River or Brent's River or something. Because it, you know, it just has a very negative frame of reference around it, and it's very difficult to overcome. So what are some of the reasons that we're having all these problems? Again, you know, it's just all these man-made, anthropomorphic problems of stormwater and pollution, and there's 1 million people living in a watershed. The density is about 5,000 people per square mile. And we just really need to come to a place where we are doing things that are sustainable and working to slow the water down, soak it in, for instance, through some of these projects you're hearing and seeing about out there. These are all great examples. It's going to take about 1 million of these things to solve it on a really grand scale, but you know, we've spent 400 years messing it up. It's going to take a generation to fix. The important thing is, you people in the room who are young, leaving myself out of that, I'm ready to move on. We're going to pass the baton to you guys. I'm so honored that you're here to listen to this, because you're getting a jump on this. This is going to be a big responsibility. Whether you care about the river or jobs or people, however you frame your needs and desires, you have to come to the table and you have to sit. And it is going to take partners. So good on you. Green roofs, again, these are all solutions that come into the built environment. Let's be real, the Anacostia is an urban river. It's always going to be an urban river. And this applies to many other rivers in the country and the world as well, no matter where you work. But we need to figure out how to live in our environment and take care of the environment at the same time. So what does this do? Well, it provides a great place to come out and have a cocktail, have breakfast, but it also manages a lot of the stormwater, provides some habitat. It's a beautiful, beautiful thing. Probably raises the assessed value of this property as well, from the business perspective. This is a trash trap that we operate in Nash Run, and again, this is our trash problem. When AWS started, it was mostly tires and cars and refrigerators and such. And we're down to beverage containers and styrofoam, plastic bags, basketballs, things like that. What's important is it's changed, and we don't always recognize that, but it's been incremental, but it has changed. This is the detritus of a convenient life, okay? So we all make these decisions every day. What's the best way to manage this? Well, we should have bottle deposit legislation, or we should capture it in these traps and things like that. Those are business decisions that all of us need to come to. What's the best strategy? Who owns those bottles? The guy that made it, the guy that sold it, the guy that drank it, the guy that didn't dispose of it correctly? Who owns those bottles? Those are all questions that we need to answer. This is just showing kind of a trash tower of this stuff, but here's why we're having styrofoam bans in all the jurisdictions. This is why we're going after bottle deposit legislation. We had the same issue with the bags. If we were finding nuclear reactors, that's what we'd be chasing, okay? We're not finding them. But this is what we're chasing. So, unfortunately, bags and bottles didn't quite make it through Maryland this year, but not for lack of trying. Education is really, frankly, part of the whole drill. Getting to the kids is fantastically important. They really make a difference when they go home and do this with mom and dad about stuff. I use the example of seat belts, of course, because when I was a kid, cars didn't even have seat belts, and today you don't even get in a car. You use bike or something else. So things have changed dramatically, and we're trying to keep that change ongoing. And working with kids, engaging them in a lot of this stuff. This is putting shad back in the river. Really helps them become embedded in their community, engaged in their community, and the connections thereof. So there's a shot of our new boat with a rude boy over here driving it last week.
I took that picture.
She took that picture, yeah.
See how we work together? It's awesome.
That was just before she started trying to sink them.
Oh,
with
serious
everybody
broken. What did we
in
tell
your
her?
wake.
All right, so what I really want to focus on a little bit is, and I'm sure everybody at the table wants to hear a little bit more about, is this long-term cleanup of the sediments in the river. We have some really pretty heavy legacy sediments in the bottom of the river, almost from the confluence down and then up into the Washington Channel. This is going to be very interesting work over the next probably 10 years, hopefully less. But the district is taking it as approaching it as a volunteer effort, and hoping that folks like Pepco and the Navy Yard and others volunteer. But there's some real heavy legacy sediment in the river that needs to be managed, and needs to be managed sustainably and correctly. And it's not going to be cheap. It's going to be in the order of $750 to $1 billion of cleanup. And why do we need to clean it up? Well, because the river's very shallow, because we think it's contaminating our fish that people are eating, because it's the right thing to do, and because it doesn't belong there. It was put there by previous generations who thought that that was the best way to dispose of it. They were wrong, unfortunately. So Park Service, Navy Yard, GSA, Maryland, the district, probably Bureau of Engraving and Printing, and a host of others. DC Water will probably end up being potential responsible parties here, and focusing on a cleanup, which is going to include excavating, dredging, and some capping. So that's going to be really the big push. That's going to be the long-term control plan that Jennifer worked on 20 years ago, and trying to make that happen here. All right, that's my story, and I'm sticking to it. A couple things I wanted to respond to with Chris's questioning was, why do I care about this? I love clean water. I'm all about it. I have two boys, 18 and 14, and they love to fish and boat and swim, and I think everybody has a right to that. I love all rivers, and I live on the bay, and this water flows into the bay. So, thank you.
Thanks.